Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to cook this recipe, and you know, you'll learn that when I am cooking, I don't really measure. I kind of do what looks good, but I will show you how much I'm putting in as I'm putting it in. I usually try to make leftovers so I'm not having to cook every day, but I want to also have a variety at the same time. So, but I also want to do stuff that are easy as well, but tastes like you spent 500 bazillion hours making it. So, but today I'm going to make something in the Instapot where I'm putting sausage in it, some mushrooms, onions, and potatoes. I wanted to use regular white potatoes, but some of that stuff is hard to find right now at the store. So I got what they had that I liked, which is the gold potatoes. And I'm not going to peel them, I'm just going to cube them. So first we're going to do the potatoes. I'm going to lightly rinse them in the sink. And then I'm going to put the whole bag in, and like I said, I'm just going to cut them into chunks, just to make them like bite-sized pieces. The one thing that I really like about the Instapot is that it is so fast and it tastes like it's been in there forever. So, now I will say I'm not the best at cutting, but I mean, when you're eating things, you don't go, ooh, this was cut like crap and I don't want to eat it. No, if it tastes good, that's all that matters. And that's what I tend to strive for, which is to make it taste amazing to where people want more. And then end up eating way too much. It's a good thing and a bad thing. I would say it's a bad thing because if you want it to last a couple days, sometimes it might not last a couple days. That's what makes it hard when it is something that's so good. My boyfriend, sometimes he'll have like 3 or 4 plates worth of stuff. So, because it's so good, which I love because that makes me feel good that I'm so good at cooking things, but it sucks because then sometimes I have to cook more often because we run out of leftovers. Because the leftovers don't really become leftovers. That's why it sometimes is the trick, is hopefully making enough to where there is leftovers, but you know, also making it taste amazing. So, and this is a 3-pound bag, I believe, 24 ounces, which I believe is 3 pounds. I'd have to look that up. I'm not really sure about what 24 ounces equals. So, but it'll be more than enough potatoes for what I need. And I've got 2 sausages here, but I may only put 1 in the Instapot. I'm going to put a whole onion. And this I'm going to cut it up. Oh, I forgot one thing that I'm putting in here. It's the green pepper. So once I'm done cutting this, I will get out the green pepper. I forgot that I was putting green pepper in this. Like I said, it's not a recipe per se. It's just something, I had a recipe similar that I made in a pot, but I wanted to try this in the Instapot, and again, I'm adding some things in it that I didn't have in it the other time that I made it. I'm also obviously making it in the Instapot, so you know, we'll see how it turns out. You know, I like to try things just to see how it goes. And I'm pretty lucky with trying some stuff. You know, I've been cooking since I was a child. That was the thing that I always enjoyed doing with my mom, making things, and even my grandparents. I've just always loved to cook. One of the first major things that I learned how to cook, I'll get that later, was stuffed mushrooms. My aunt taught me how to make that. And it has become the thing that people request the most from me, which is fine. But again, like I said before, I like to mix it up. I like to try new things. Now, I don't like to get crazy or anything, you know, like using live things and stuff like that. But I do like to try different things, mix it up, you know, do some different things and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to put this whole onion in, because this looks about enough. So I'm just going to put in a baggie the leftover onions. And there's no rhyme or reason of how much I'm putting in. It's just really how much I feel like cooking. Let me go grab the green onion, or green pepper. I do have quite a bit of green pepper here. I'm not sure. I think I'll use both of them. Just using my potato bag as my scraps. And again, you know, when you're cooking, and especially if you're wanting to learn to cook, you don't need to be so like, you know, like so professional, because really in the end, people are, when they're, you know, tasting your food, they're not worrying about, oh, are all of the pieces cut evenly, or are the is it julienne, or is it minced, or like, people only care about, does it taste good? That's all they care about, is does it taste good? And do I want to make it? Do I want to make it again? You know, all of those things, it's, you know, it just depends on that. It doesn't, nobody cares about how it looks. I mean, yes, it makes it more appealing when it looks nice, but in the end, all that matters is that it tastes good. So that's really all you need to care about when you're cooking, is does it taste good? Did I not burn it? You know, I've known quite a few people, like my dad, that burns things, and, you know, sometimes when it's burnt, it's kind of hard to eat when it's burnt. So you always want to make sure, especially if you're cooking something new and you're not really sure how long it's going to take to cook it until it's done, you know, you do want to keep a close eye on it. Yes, that can be, you know, that's very time consuming, because you're constantly checking it. That's the one thing I will say that I like about the Instapot, is because it's a set it and forget it type thing. Like it cooks on it. You know, I was skeptical at first, not gonna lie. The first thing I made it, I was like, there's no way that it can cook that chicken that quickly, or that chuck roast that quickly. Like, I was like, there's just no way. And then once I cooked it and then we ate it, I was like, this is the best thing ever. I mean, it was so quick. It was so, oh, it was so awesome. And, you know, it was hard. It was so hard not to believe it, you know, that it wasn't going to be so awesome like that. Like, now I just want to cook everything in the Instapot, just because of how quickly it cooks. So the mushrooms, I'm going to cube, because, or quarter, like this. And the reason why I do that is I've sliced them in the Instapot, and they shrink quite a bit so I preferably like more, I love mushrooms, so I like big chunks of mushrooms. So I, in the Instapot, like to quarter them because I feel like with the Instapot, with them shrinking, I still want to taste like I have mushroom in it. So I tend to, when I put them in here, I tend to quarter them. The other thing I'm really good at making, which I'm sure I will make plenty of those videos, are desserts. I love baking. Fun fact, I actually have a KitchenAid like this tattooed on my leg because I love to bake. So and I also have a girl next to it pulling out muffins out of the oven. Like I said, I like to bake. The thing that I get requests, just like I get the request for the stuffed mushrooms, I also get requests for the brownies. I'm really good at making brownies. So I'm putting about 2 8-ounce packages of mushrooms because, again, I love mushrooms, and I feel like with me personally, you know, you can't have enough mushrooms. Now, if you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to put mushrooms in it. You can just do the peppers and the onions and the sausage and then call it a day. But like I said, I love mushrooms, so I like to, any recipe that I can make with mushrooms, I'm going to make with mushrooms. So you will see in my videos that most things that I will make will have mushrooms in it. It's just what it is. Now, again, you don't have to put mushrooms. A lot of times when I'm doing a recipe, I add mushrooms even though it doesn't call for it. I, of course, obviously won't add mushrooms to anything because there's certain things that just mushrooms just won't go. But there are a lot of things that mushrooms can go with it no matter what. So any chance that I get to add mushrooms, I tend to add them. I don't think I'm going to put the whole thing in it because it's starting to get full and I still need to add the meat. So I'm going to leave the rest. This is about what's left in the other package. So I did probably about half the package of the 1.5 packages of the mushrooms. Now for the sausage, I'm just gonna slice them up into bite-sized pieces, round pieces. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be crazy, but it just needs to, you know, be easier to eat, you know. And then I just sprinkle it on top. I'm also going to put some water in here and then some butter and some seasoning. And again, I'm not doing any measurements. A lot of things I don't do measurements. I know how much water I'm going to put in measurement-wise, but everything else, it's kind of like, sometimes I do it based on how it looks. Sometimes I do it based on smell. Like when I make my stuffed mushrooms, it has a certain smell when I add certain seasonings and stuff. So once I get that smell, then I know I put enough of whatever. So, so I'm going to sprinkle it on top. I'm probably going to use both sausages because my boyfriend likes a lot of meat. So I'm going to, and again, like I said before, I'm trying to make it to where I have extras. I have leftovers. Because again, nobody wants to cook every day, especially if you're working full-time and stuff like that. Like me personally, I actually not only work full-time, I actually have 2 jobs. So I also work at a grocery store locally here called Publix. And I do that on the weekends. So I work at my full-time job during the week, and then I do Publix on the weekends. So, you know, I don't want to have to cook every day. If I can go where I can cook every couple days, where I can make a meal that's big enough to last every couple days, I'm going to do that. So I try to find things that I can make kind of in bulk. Now, I will tell you this, I have learned with my Instapot, I tend to fill it more than you should. So don't follow my example. There is a line inside the Instapot where it tells you not to go above. I don't always listen to that, but nothing has ever happened, knock on wood, you know, but I just don't want to have to make 2 batches. And again, I probably just need to get a bigger one just because I like to make so much. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, monkey see, monkey don't do. So, all right. Now I'm gonna put about a 1/2 cup of water in here. So like I said, that is the only thing that I know how much or what I'm measuring. And that's really just for the potatoes. The rest of the stuff is kind of has moisture in it, so it's gonna create that moisture. I'm probably gonna put probably like 3/4 of a stick of butter. So I'm probably putting 6 tablespoons. That much. Who likes to, I swear, I feel like every time I unwrap butter, it always breaks up into chunks. Alright, I want to try to stick that in there. Alright, and I'm also going to add some minced garlic that I have. Probably about that much. And then I'm going to put some seasoning. My favorite seasoning, as you can tell, I don't have a whole lot left, so I'm probably going to use the rest of it, is lemon pepper. Lemon pepper, I feel like, is good on everything. I mean, I literally put it on so many things. I don't think I don't put it on anything, really. I'm going to also do some onion and herb. Mrs. Dash. And then I'm going to put a little seasoned salt. Lowry seasoned salt. Alright. Now, I'm going to put my lid on my Instapot. Okay. Having some technical difficulties with this. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to plug this in over here. So, So I'm going to cook it on my Instapot for 5 minutes, and then it should be done. That's what's nice about the Instapot. It cooks so quickly, it's like insane. So I'm going to do that, and I will show you when I'm done. Okay, so now the Instapot is done, and you're going to release the pressure by hitting the little thing right there. And then you wait for that little thing right there to go down. And this is what it looks like done. It's got the potatoes, you've got the mushrooms, and as you can see, somebody's already sticking their hand in there because they can't wait. But that was easy. And you will see more videos in the future.